Alright boys, welcome back to the Black Clover mobile video, and VALKYIRE Noelle is dropping tonight on Global. So we're going to do a quick should you summon. Yes, you should. There's literally nothing else coming out. I think it's a really bad season. We got Zora and Grey, but by far the biggest priority is the obviously new and first life type VALKYIRE Noelle. And before going in what she actually does, it's a VALKYIRE Noelle. People are going to summon for just who she actually is in itself. But of course, this is where Black Clover Mobile does change, and we start going down the road of going into, you know, more or less moving away from the mono typings, right, where you're using full greens, full blues, full reds, which is something that's desperately needed, and she's obviously a very fun character. Like I said, you should be summoning. There's literally nothing else. I mean, we are going to be getting Black Divider Asta, who was kind of leaked, teased a little bit, but don't worry, that's not coming out for at least another season or two, so don't worry too much about it on Global. So yeah, like I said, you should be summoning, so the video can kind of end there, but of course we're going to talk about and explain the character if you don't know, and of course if you are a new player and you're kind of get back into the game because you saw VALKYIRE Noelle, then let's just run through what the character does. So yeah, first thing is she is a harmony type color. She is yellow, which means she has type advantage over every single color in the game. Despite her being a defender, she actually is a bit of a DPS if you build her up properly, and there's a reason why she is a defender, and that's because of the passive. So her unique passive is what she gets by getting towards LR basically, and it does read it: if there is only one defender in your team, grant the Sea Dragon Spear every single time you're attacked up to 4 times, and resets when you after using your skill 1 or special move. When 4 skills are stacked, remove immortality before the enemy does attack. So yeah, a very simple passive. You just get attacked 4 times and then you're able to remove immortality. Now remember, she is a defender, so bot wise, most of the bots are going to attack her just regularly because she is like the defender. They just always target her. When it does come towards live PP, it'll be a lot different because people are going to actually be aware of what she does and purposely go out of their way not to attack her. But that being said, there are ways around it because you are able to taunt some enemies for a skill page. We will run through that later on. But moving over towards the Awaken passive, when you do get towards 2-star and also of course 5-star. The 2-star one does say if you have only one single defender in your team, grant the taunt removal at the start of her turn. Very, very important because obviously the big buff skill we'll go for in a second is of course this tier 2 skill, and of course if you get taunted by Black Asta, Meliona, any character in the game that kind of taunts you, then you won't be able to use that skill and she will be almost useless, right? That's kind of why it's very important to get towards 2-star, and that's kind of the sweet spot for her. But when you do get towards 5-star, which to be fair you should be doing anyway, it's not the biggest buff. It's definitely a lot better, and you're definitely gonna want to go towards it. But all it's gonna do is be the exact same as the 2-star awakening, but you're gonna get a 5% mobility increase to your stamina or your mobility, and of course get a level 1 speed buff for 1 turn at the start of battle, basically guaranteeing that you start first, so you can apply your tier 2 buff straight away. Like I said, throughout the battle, it's not going to help too much other than the fact that you got your chance to buff up before the enemy team go crazy. So you can get away with using that 2-star, but if you really plan to use the character and you want to use her, definitely, you know, invest into her, spend some extra currency, or of course spend the universal dupes onto her because it's definitely worth it. So going over to skill 1, this is where her actual, you know, passive is going to make a bit more sense. So for each Dragon Spear buff, she is going to attack after granted a 40% increase in damage dealt buff. And bear in mind, she gets those Dragon Spears by getting attacked. And remember, the passive does say she can only have 4 onto her. So when she gets attacked 4 times, so when she does have max stack, she's going to have a 160% damage dealt increase when attacking a single target. Also have a type advantage over every color in the game apart from dark type, who we don't have in the game right now. So yeah, this skill will just do a lot of damage. Also remove the immortality, so if you are using a full mono red or even mono green with obviously Vanessa, then you will just instantly remove the immortality and get that one shot. This is what I mean by the fact that we're moving away from monocolors because she is going to be somewhat of a counter towards all the colors in the game. Also to add on top of it, because why not, grants a reduced damage taken buff to an ally with the highest attack, which is also going to be more helpful as well. Moving on towards her second skill, which is going to be a buff skill, which once again, you know, can be disabled, right? I guess by like Julius, if you like lower the skill, but you can't be disabled by taunt skill. So there's still ways around it, but generally not. You're going to get this off, right? So there's a 3-turn cooldown. It is going to be a buff, which we're going to show with the actual skill page equipped. This is before the skill page equipped. Very bad 10% damage reduction, crit res level 2, but then when you do have the skill page equipped, you're going to get a 30% reduced damage taken buff for 2 turns, a lot better than only 10%. The actual increased critical res, so you can't get crit as often, is a lot better. It's the exact same, still a pretty good buff to get, by the way, just so you don't get crit, so you can tank a lot more. Two very good skills to get. And of course, the big one you're going to get is the absolute area, which is going to grant your whole team status immunity, so you cannot be stunned. But the biggest one is giving all of your allies 2 SP every single turn, and that is just insane because that's for 2 turns, so you're going to be getting 4 SP for your whole team, which is like I mean, is not going to be like the best partner for her, but it's just, you can rush ultimate with just Noelle, and you know, you can want to bring Charlotte, and then also, you're going to be getting ultimates very fast with those 2 characters. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and just for future proofing, it's like such a good skill to have, which is why you want to have the skill page. The ultimate is simple. It's very much like skill 1, where you get more damage dealt by 75% per Sea Dragon Spear buff on yourself, so you can get upwards to, what is it, 280% damage increase, and also as well, bear in mind you have max stacks, you can also remove immortality, and of course you do have the barrier removal, so there's no way they can stop you from getting attacked. If it did buff removal, it would be most broken skill in the game. But yeah, that is when you get a pretty good ultimate, you want to get those stacked up. But bear in mind, when you do use your ultimate or your tier 1, it is going to reset the actual Sea Dragon Spear, right? So you'll make sure you kind of stack this up a little bit before you start attacking. Combined attack is going to be somewhat situational, but you won't use it too often. But if you want to, you can. It's going to grant someone in your team or your partner the invulnerability buff for 1 turn, so you can't take any single damage. Alright, so I spoke about a lot on the channel already, but we are going to be getting 2 skill pages for VALKYIRE Noelle. One is going to be a paid one, which is going to be this one right here, the Steel Princess, where you are going to get, basically, if the Sea Dragon Spear is present on self upon attacking, there's a chance to, 100% chance to inflict taunt onto 2 or to 1 enemy for 1 turn, only 2 times. This is basically a way for her to, you know, taunt the enemy team to where, 1, they may be able to buff up if you get on the right target, but also they're then forced to attack into Noelle, so of course you can then get more ways to, you know, get her Sea Dragon Spear, right? So yeah, it's a skill page you want because it's gonna indirectly kind of buff her up, and it's not, like I said, not going to be too great in normal PvP because most of the time the bots are going to directly attack her anyway, but when it comes towards live PvP, this is where you're going to notice a massive difference, because if you can get that onto the DPS, where the DPS may not want to target the action Noelle, they're then forced to attack into her. So it's a skill page you want to do, pal, but it's not one you need to, right? It's more of a, if you can do it, sure, do it, but in comparison towards, obviously, you know, Meridiana, and you know, if you want to use those characters and, like, you know, actually use them, you really have to get that duped out. With this one, we don't need to. So it's nice that we can, you know, summon her, get that skill page, get it once, and kind of leave it as it is, right? Maybe you want to spend a few actual dupes onto her, but with, of course, Black Divider Aster being somewhat close in the future, I'd rather just start saving for that and save for him, because he's probably going to need it. But like I said, there is, of course, going to be a free-to-play skill page, which is going to have a really bad passive, at least for when it comes towards, obviously, PvP, which is just going to increase the chance of obtaining Yule by 1 to 10%. Once again, the biggest takeaway is that it still does the same buff. Like, no matter what, if it's a pay or free to play one, you're still getting that tier 2 buff, right, where you get the 30% reduced damage taken, the actual absolute area. So if you are like just free to play and you have like no gems and you just didn't get the skill page, but you got the VALKYIRE Noelle, you can equip this to her and actually still be usable in PvP, because you really want this actual buff here. Like I said, the getting taunts onto random enemies is sure great, but it's not going to, oh, it will make a big difference, but it's not like you can't use this skill page in PvP and still somewhat be fine. So yeah, that's VALKYIRE Noelle. We haven't seen animation. She has got some pretty cool ones there. You're going to get the little bubble, of course, and you're going to get the little boss. And then right here, this is the ultimate, which is very good. It's basically Sea Dragon's Roar, which we obviously never got in the game for a Noelle, to kind of combine both into it, kind of what you expect, and then boom, big single target damage. So yeah, that is VALKYIRE Noelle. She is going to be a broken character. Cannot wait to get my hands onto her and play with her. Not only is she one of my favorite characters in the series, it's just such a cool design. Really can't wait to actually finally get my hands on the character and use her. And of course, can't wait to see my summons, because we got quite lucky. Probably my best summons, I got my JP account. You can see on screen now, we got a Tomb one, which I doubt I'll get my global one. But once again, she's a character that doesn't require too much investment. If you really want to, 2-star with the free-to-play skill page is usable. But I really recommend trying to get that skill page at least once, the paid one, and of course getting a duped out at least towards 5-star, because you might as well, right? So boys, thank you for watching. Good luck on your summons. I know right now a lot of people are broke because they just spent a lot of currency, maybe even on the recent banners, so you may not have too many, but don't worry, they are giving out a lot of currency throughout the season. The banner will last 2 weeks. There'll be more ways to obviously get stuff. Bear in mind, this will be a maintenance update, meaning everyone on each server is going to get the update or the banner at the exact same time, which is obviously always nice, rather than it resetting at your local server time. So make sure to get in, do all the challenges, especially that event bingo that's ending tonight. You make sure to finish it if you haven't already done so. So boy, thank you for watching, and yeah.